Good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you had a really good Christmas, and for a fresh start into 2026, I'm going to do something a little bit different. And today I wanted to talk about a Sézane and how you might be able to recreate the Sézane look from items from your own wardrobe. They have just released the first lookbook of 2026, which has the theme New York City. And maybe like me, you felt a little bit triggered and wanted to purchase some of the items that they're showing there. But I'd like to encourage you to just take a pause and have a think and a root around in your wardrobe. I can be really enticed by an editorial, and then I can be quite trigger happy about ordering one or two pieces in the aspiration to create the same look at home, and then kind of failing at that because I think I didn't think through what I was actually buying. So the fuzzy cardigan that you think you're getting is actually just like any other cardigan that you've already got in your wardrobe, and you failed to style it to create the vibe that you're after. So one of the first things that comes to mind when you think about Sézane and their whole aesthetic is probably Parisian, chic, or French style or something like that. And in a way, that's a really, really lazy way of describing the brand aesthetic because it doesn't really give you much to work with. I mean, what does that mean at the end of the day, and how can you recreate it in your own wardrobe? I couldn't tell you from the top of my head, and you probably can't either. But when you have a look at the website and also the styling of the pieces on the website and the styling of the model, there are kind of certain recurring themes that you see again and again. So one thing that always strikes me about Sézane is that they're kind of unapologetically classic in their designs, but in a laid-back way. So what I mean is they don't really do trends. You'd struggle to find a barrel shape on their website or anything that has been really, really trending hard. They also don't really do trend colors. And they repeat their pieces, their designs, their patterns year on year in kind of different colorways. If you go back a few years, you will see that actually the designs haven't changed all that much. So it's a very classic outlook. There's also a definite nod here to the 1970s. There's a lot of kind of flared jeans or wide leg jeans going, or on the other hand, the slimmer fits are more like cigarette pants. It's all a little bit retro, I would say. It's a little bit boho as well. And they keep on going with this aesthetic no matter what is currently on trend. In terms of their tailoring, I would say that a lot of their pieces are often not very tailored, not very sharp, a little bit unstructured. You can see that in things like puff sleeves, or their outerwear a lot of the time has dropped shoulders and things like that. So generally, there isn't an awful lot of sharp lines and angles going on in their tailoring, and it's overall more of a soft, flowing aesthetic. The second descriptor I would use for the brand is that the aesthetic is quite feminine and romantic, but in a little bit of a tomboy way. So you get very feminine details in terms of embroidery, the odd ruffle, the odd puff sleeve. The knits are usually out of a kind of fuzzy and soft material like merino or alpaca. It's all very soft and lovely and a little bit whimsical and romantic. But then what I mean by tomboy is it's this kind of subtle sexiness that there is. So there's nothing too out there, nothing too overdressed, nothing screaming, look at me. And the way they're styling their items in a kind of sexy way is that there's often the cardigans, there are a few buttons open, and you can see like a collarbone, or you can see the wrist or the ankle in their styling. And then also this extends to the way they're styling their models. So there's no really harsh makeup going on there. It's all very, very natural. And the hairstyles are also kind of really laid back and very undone in a way. All of these things come together in this kind of romantic, feminine, yet tomboyish aesthetic that I think is really archetypal for Sézane. And lastly, what I think Sézane are famous for are their colors. They're very unafraid in using bold colors and mixing them also in a bold and unexpected manner. They don't really do trend colors when everybody else is doing chocolate brown and burgundy. They will kind of do whatever they like. They're very unafraid, as I said, in using color and mixing and matching color as well. So in summary, we got classic 70s laid-back aesthetic with a bit of a romantic feminism going on, and all of that executed in vibrant colors that may or may not clash. So I'm going to put a few pictures here and there up on the screen for you as I go through this video, but I had a look at the website yesterday. So the first thing that I saw that caught my eye was the color red. So they're using a lot of red in their most recent lookbook. It's kind of an orangey, quite bright, vibrant red. And they are kind of mixing and matching this with all sorts of unexpected colors. But one that caught my eye, I'm going to put it for you here, is with this muted blue that really in terms of color theory doesn't go well with it at all, but I still think it looks really good. So this is my first inspiration for this look. I'm going to see if I can recreate something with the color red, with the color blue, and then going in over the top with a trench coat, probably in camel, because I think that's the only color that I have. And let's just see what we come up with here. So here's the kind of first attempt at recreating something similar that I just grabbed from downstairs. I'm going to talk you through these and then I'll put them on and see where we get to. This is a jumper from a local boutique, let's say, and it's kind of got the orangey red mixed in with pink. This isn't too unlike something that you might find on the Sézane website, but in terms of cut, in terms of sleeves and all of that, it's very, very plain. So let's see if we can spice that up a bit. I then had a bit of a root around in my denim collection, and I have so many jeans, it's ridiculous. And I know that some of them don't even fit anymore, but these are probably about 3 or 4 years old when we still had kind of more flares. And they're a flare. They're a little bit of a flare. They're not too exaggerated, but then also they have this seam detail on the front, which I think makes them look very much like 70s. I've then got this handbag to replicate the dusty blue, but you wouldn't have to do that. A pair of jeans in a similar color is probably just enough to get that color contrast that I'm after. But since I have this bag, why not use it? So in terms of footwear, I have to say, we've had kitten heels for so many seasons now that I don't have all that much anymore in terms of block heel, but I do have one pair of footwear, which is a really crazy one. Some of you might recognize this kind of box. This is a Japanese shoe designer called Chie Mihara. And she makes absolutely awesome shoes. They're kind of bonkers, I have to say, but I do love them. And I'm going to show you those ones because I think they're going to tick. Yikes. Okay, nothing broke. They're going to tick the Sézane block heel and 70s inspired madness box. So this is what they look like. They're in various different colors. They very much have this block heel and they have got a kind of square toe box. So I'm in. Is it giving me 70s vibes? Yes, definitely. But Sézane vibes, I'm not sure. So anyway, I'm in those flary jeans with the mad shoes with the block heel. And then this jumper, this kind of fuzzy jumper and the blue bag in contrast to the red. So I think where this is lacking a little bit, if this was a cardigan with buttons that I could leave open, then it would be much more aligned with the kind of Sézane vibe we're going for here. But I don't have a cardigan. So I was thinking maybe I could do something with rolling up the sleeves. And also I've got a couple of brooches here from a very cheap brooch set from Zara. So let's see if we can do something with those and make it look just a little bit more feminine. I don't really know why. I guess I just do. The whole showing a little bit of subtle, sexy skin is easier said than done in the winter. I think the maximum I can do here is to roll up my sleeves a little bit, because otherwise there's really not much I can do. I'm also not really showing an ankle here with this footwear, but let's see if we can fix that in the next outfit. And I was thinking in terms of outerwear, I kind of thought about 2 options. So the first thing is, if it's not very cold, I have this scarf, this huge blanket scarf from Zara. And it's got exactly those colors that I'm trying to combine, the red and the blue. So I think this might be really nice. But you can't really wear that with a coat because it's just a little bit too cumbersome. So I'm going to start with this and with a nice little pin to pin it. Sometimes I get a little shy, but I don't want to wait. You make me want to touch the sky. You make me want to get you. I ain't no social butterfly, but when I'm next to you, I feel like I want to dance all night. Baby, I don't dance. Baby, I feel like there's kind of a lot going on here. I'm not sure. Is that maybe too much check with the checked jumper and the checked scarf? Maybe a plain red jumper would have been better. But anyway, I'm going to try the second outerwear option now. I'm going to try it with a wool trench coat from Massimo Dutti that I have. This item is a bit more tailored, I suppose, than what Sézane would bring out. But it's in wool, so it's not as stiff as another trench coat. So I think we can kind of play on the fluidity that they use in their styling with this one. All right, so this I quite like. This is kind of something that I would wear, even though I'm not really into the flared jeans at the moment at all, I have to say. Really, outside of Sézane, not seeing too many of those. I do love the trench though. This is one of my favorite all-time pieces anyway. And then, yeah, funnily enough, I don't love this bag with the outfit. In actual fact, I wouldn't wear it. So funny, because this is what I set out to style. Red against dusty blue. And in the end, I'm deciding that a red versus dusty blue isn't for me. But anyway, do you see where I'm going with this? This is inspired by the Sézane aesthetic. And I think it kind of captures it. Obviously, it's a little bit tailored to what I've got in my own wardrobe. You know, otherwise you would have to go out and buy every single piece, which would be stupid. And I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to try another play on the concept. The concept being trousers, a nice knit, and then a trench coat. So everybody will have something in their wardrobe that they can use to style exactly that. So I'm going to go in with another few pieces with a different color scheme, and I'm going to be back with the new look in a minute. Next Sézane inspired outfit idea, riffing on the same theme here, is this look. So what I've used here is, this is a very, very soft and fuzzy 100% cashmere cable knit jumper from COS that I got in the sale, which I'm very pleased about. So, and I'm kind of scrunching the arms up a bit so you can see the wrists. That's what Sézane would be doing. I've then paired this with a pair of wool trousers from End of the Stories. These are a couple of years old, maybe 3 or 4 years, I can't quite remember. And then on my feet, and just to show a little bit of foot, even though you can't really see the ankle, I've got something, yeah, they're very Sézane inspired, but they're not from Sézane, they're actually from Massimo Dutti from a few years back, and they're kind of like a Mary Jane with a little bit of a block heel and a couple of straps on the front. So, and they're in this burgundy patent finish. So that's the base look. In terms of bag, this is a little bit of a cheat because this is an actual Sézane bag. I only have this one from quite a few years back. This is the Milo bag in burgundy. They still make this shape. It's one of their classics, but you don't need a Sézane bag. You can use any kind of bag. And I have to say, I think just because of the color scheme, I like this better than the first one I came up with. The first one I felt was a little bit messy for my liking. And then I'm going to layer a coat over this. And I just have to warn you that this is another cheat because this is a Sézane coat that I ordered very, very recently. I'm still kind of dithering and dallying a little bit whether I'm going to keep it. I think I will because the color is just so gorgeous. But yeah, of course it's sold out. It's Sézane. It sold out immediately as it always does. Anyway, give me one moment and I shall bring it up for you. This coat, so this coat is coming up in an absolutely mental color on camera because it looks green. This is actually a mustard yellow coat. The thing is that it's raining, so we have no light. I have to film with artificial lights, which I usually do, but normally they're not so prominent. So anyway, this is a coat. It's got a detachable scarf that is integrated. It's typical Sézane in the way that it's quite loose fitting. As I said, it's unstructured. You can see it's got dropped sleeves. It's 100% double-faced wool. It's got these big pockets here on the front. It's an absolutely, absolutely beautiful coat. I'm afraid the color really doesn't show properly on camera, but if you check the website, I'm going to try and link it down below for you, even though it's sold out. You're going to be better able to see what it actually looks like in reality. So yeah, that arrived in the post as a little Christmas gift to myself. And that's the finished Sézane inspired look. Apologies for the little cheat because I'm using a couple of actual Sézane items here. So the next couple of outfits, they're sort of a similar take on the same thing. I'm going to play on this with a few items from my wardrobe that I've brought up here. Firstly, I've got some leather trousers. I've also got some suede trousers. And then I have a nice kind of cable knit cardigan and a shirt. The first thing I want to put up on the screen for you here is this look with a pair of leather trousers, and then they've got this puff-sleeved blouse on here with like a subtle stripe pattern, and it's got a beautiful color and beautiful cuff details, and I do really love this. I have nothing like that in my wardrobe. So I thought I'm gonna try and style a similar look with this sort of really simple cotton poplin button up from Massimo Dutti. It's got a very subtle brown stripe in it, and it's actually a really nice but underused item in my wardrobe. Let's see what we can do with this one. So here's the first attempt at this look, and I really don't hate this at all. I'm wearing my dark brown leather trousers from Massimo Dutti with these patent leather, I don't know what you call these things actually, Mary Jane thingies again. That's kind of similar to what she's wearing in the outfit. Hers are a little bit more vibrant in terms of the red contrasting against the rest of the look. And then I don't have this pretty blouse that she has or anything like it. So instead I'm just wearing this cotton poplin, kind of officey shirt, but styled in a bit more of a relaxed way with the rolled up sleeves and have it slightly unbuttoned and slightly undone. So I like this. I think that's quite nice. I would probably wear my Milo bag with this. And then if you wanted to style this to go out, I think a trench coat, again, very Sézane, would be nice with that. I'm going to throw on my woolen one that I have from Massimo again, just because that has a little less structure and is a bit more fluid than the other trench coat that I have, which is quite a stiff one. By the way, I feel an underused accessory if you want to go for something quite feminine and kind of Parisian chic, even though I don't really like that term much, is neck scarves. That's a really good option. You can have like little silk scarves or these woolen triangle scarves that are everywhere this year. They are also really a quite nice accessory to use. The other idea I had is starting off with a similar base layer and then going on with some cozy knitwear. And here we finally have a cardigan, so I can play a little bit with some open buttons and showing a little bit of the neckline and that kind of thing. And yeah, that's the second idea that I'm going to style for you here. And let's see how they come out. I have never in my life thought about cuffing leather trousers, but I just did because these are a bit long with these shoes. I'm not 100% sure what I think about this. I've gone in with the leather trousers again rather than the suede trousers because I kind of realized that those colors don't pair very well. The suede trousers would go absolutely beautifully with the shirt I just wore a minute ago, but with this cardigan, it looks a bit mismatched because one brown is a bit cool and the other one is a bit warm. But anyway, here we are with the cardigan version of this idea. I'm trying to have this open a little bit and have the sleeves rolled up a bit just to show a little bit of skin as they would do on the website. So that's the idea of it. I quite like it. I mean, you could go in with some ballet flats or some Mary Janes or even some pointed boots would be fine with this, I think. Also, you don't need leather trousers. Sure, you don't. You could just wear jeans or whatever. But this is a very kind of Sézane outfit in my mind. And yeah, really no need to buy any of their leather goods at the moment, which are quite pricey as well, as I think we all know. So anyway, this is the second take of this look. And this cable knit jumper I've shown before, this is a really a beautiful one out of wool from Massimo Dutti. I suppose I don't want to let you go without showing you one outfit that involves the suede pants, so I'm just gonna come up with something here quickly that is Sézane inspired and has the suede in it, and I'll be back here in a minute. Final attempt here, playing on the Sézane colors that they always use. So these are kind of khaki green suede pants. You've seen those before. And then I've put these together with these mustard yellow jumper. I wouldn't normally pair these colors, but they do go. They're kind of in the similar color family. And this is some kind of color combination I think that they would be styling on their website. I've got these burgundy patent Massimo Dutti shoes on again. And then also to play on the Sézane whimsical, this here is a coral necklace, I think it is, from Bijou Brigitte. So Sézane will sell a lot of jewelry that is like resin jewelry or natural stone and things like that. And in my mind, they're very nice, but they're totally overpriced, and you can find things like that in any Bijou Brigitte or any kind of natural stone shop, and for a much more affordable price tag. So this is my last take on the Sézane inspiration lookbook thingamabob. I am feeling tired and it's super, super cold, so I kind of can't wait to get cozy. And I do hope that you enjoyed the looks and it gave you a little bit of inspiration. Again, this would look great with the Milo bag, but any other bag in a kind of neutral color would also go very nicely. So I'm going to love you and leave you now, and we'll see you again in a week or two. I'm not sure yet what the schedule for the new year will bring. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of my content, and I'll see you all again soon. Have a wonderful rest of the week, everybody.